Jordon, thank you for joining us. He is with the Movement and Mobility Expert, and he is going to share with us about fire cupping massage, as well as physical therapy and massage in general, and kind of how they all work together and how we are able to get these services on Vendvana.
More recently, I think it's gotten a little bit more of an awareness here in the States. I think after I think one of the Olympics a number of years ago, when Michael Phelps was a swimmer, I think it really kind of blew up in popularity because he was using the cupping method, which is kind of, when you think of massage and applying pressure, it's kind of the opposite of that, where now instead of applying pressure, we're using a suction to kind of lift the tissues in the skin and some of the connective tissues underneath it to bring more blood flow to the area and help with healing and kind of regeneration. I think it originated initially, I mean, it's a pretty old technique. I think it's been around for thousands of years. It originated in Eastern medicine, and they used to use, back in the day, they'd use the fire, and I believe they'd use bull horns where it was actually hollowed out, and then you use some kind of, now we use alcohol, but you kind of swab the inside of it real quick, light it on fire. That creates like a little bit of a flash flame inside of it, creates heat, and then you apply that to the skin real quickly, and you get a subtle warming effect. It's not hot because it's so quick, but it does create a suction, and that suction is what pulls the skin up. It creates a negative pressure, and it really allows increased circulation to the area. So over the number of recent years, it's kind of become a little bit more well known here in the States, even though it is a very old practice. And then in more modern day, there's been different types of types of techniques that have been developed where standard was using fire, but now they have pressurized, pumps and things like that, where you can create the same effect by just using suction and a pump to get the same effect of the suction. So there's different types of it. The fire technique is, the more traditional technique where you actually create the suction using a heat. So someone's saying something. I guess with it, some of the benefits of it are creating increased circulation to the area. So it helps with healing. So if you have some pain, it can, treat that, bring circulation. It increases a little bit of movement and mobility kind of through the areas if the tissues are really tight. That suction kind of lifting of the tissues helps kind of them relax and ease. And a lot of patients typically say that they, for some reason, sleep really good after, for the a night or two after.
Jordon, so who would be a good referral for you for this type of treatment?
I think anyone who maybe has some kind of superficial, some kind of tension or a little bit of pain or stiffness, and they're wanting to try a different type of massage to kind of really help them relax and ease up some of that tension. If they haven't tried it before, might be something good to give a try and see how beneficial it is.
Okay.
The best secret right now, and probably will always be, is staying active, staying mobile, and then doing things that help you, achieve that, whether it's a little bit of exercise, massage, but then, the nutrition component of it as well. But really all of that plays into your tissues being healthy, your tissues being able to, whether it's, muscle or connective tissue or your joints, being able to allow you to keep moving and to keep active and to keep doing those things that are important.
Do you by any chance have the actual, because I assume it's still cups. Do you have those?
It is. I do. Yeah. Let me go run and grab them real quick. Give me like
I want to see
2
what
minutes.
it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do a little demonstration. Yeah, okay. So this is a standard. It's a glass fire cup. It's pretty heavy duty glass that has a smooth rim on it. So when it's applied to the skin, it's a smooth surface and it creates a nice suction up into the cup. Actually, we'll do a demonstration where I have a cup. We use an alcohol that you light on fire. And then what you do is you swab it into the cup real quick, and you apply it to the skin, and it creates a suction. It's kind of tough to do. I don't know if I can do it on myself real quick, but on my arm. But what it does is it creates a nice suction into the cup.
Wow.
Where you can see it lifts the skin, and looks kind of weird, looks a little awkward when you see it, but it kind of is a nice relaxing sensation. When you first apply it, you get a gentle warming sensation, and then it the pressure as it cools pretty quickly lifts the skin. It kind of pulls it up away from the muscle and kind of stretches, the skin and the connective tissues underneath it. There's different techniques where you can leave it in place, for a number of minutes, and then you would take it off and then reapply it, and you can kind of apply it to different areas to get, lifting throughout the whole area. There's another technique where you can slide it, along the skin, and it really kind of helps to lift and creates a good kind of promotion of circulation and stretch through the tissues. It does typically, and it's supposed to cause bruising through the area. So sometimes afterwards it looks a little gnarly, it just bruised, but that's all that blood flow and all that increased circulation to the area and the tissues. So.
Do you have smaller ones for different areas?
I do. Yeah, this is the largest one, and then I have 3 different sizes, which go a little bit smaller than this, for different areas.
Hmm.
So, like on your back, for example,
Yep.
how many cup marks would you do on a, let's say an average size?
So
man?
yeah. So typically, I have, I think I have 12 cups that vary in sizes. So it would be an application of nearly as many of those as I could, and really all 12 of those would not cover the full back of somebody, a typical person. But throughout the treatment, you let it sit for a few minutes, you lift it, and then you reapply to another area. So it's kind of like this juggling type treatment where you would be having a couple minutes in each position, each location, as you kind of work up and down the treatment area, and then on the back, and then because that's a larger treatment area than maybe like a thigh or something like that. But then you would kind of start back, and you could work through it again, so that way you get these brief, couple minute applications to each location.
Do you feel instant effect of it? I mean,
in the sense of instantly you can feel kind of the pressure, you can feel the relaxation of the tissues, kind of like with a massage, when you get that instant kind of release as they're working through it. Sometimes with the pressure you get almost like a pain, it's really tender. This, you don't really get that sensation because it's more of a suction through it, but you can feel the pull, you can feel the muscles and the tissues kind of relaxing and stretching, as soon as you put it on. And then after it sits for a few minutes, you kind of subsides a little bit because you get used to it. But then also, as those tissues relax, it becomes less intense.
So, if my girlfriend and I want to do it, because I have a girlfriend and she's always wanted to do it, so not necessarily, to just experience it.
Yeah.
Can you do 2 people together? You know what I mean? Like we come in.
I could. I'm just trying to think. I have 1 treatment table, so typically, I'm just trying to think how I could do 2. I think it would be better kind of do 1 and then the other one right afterwards, just because I think you'd get a better effect from it. I could split the cups, and what I have and do.
So while Megan's on the table, I can have a mimosa, and then while I'm on the table, you can have a mimosa.
You guys can switch. That would work. I think that'd be a better way.
I have one more question.
What's that?
Do you take insurance, or do you accept insurance?
I don't. So all of my services are, it's like a concierge type practice, so it's all direct paid by the patients. So
okay, and what is a typical? Yeah, what's a typical treatment session? How much do they?
Yeah, so my typical treatments, about $125 an hour for physical therapy treatments. For the fire cupping, and that's for usually hour treatments. The fire cupping, usually it's not quite a full hour treatment, so maybe closer to 45 minutes. So usually about $100.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Karen, don't forget, you can also do this on trade because he obviously is a Vendvana member.
Right.
So you can get this on trade.
Good idea.